Alright guys, welcome back. Got another video of the Charger. We're going to continue blasting on the front end. Hopefully we can get a lot of this stuff stripped down, epoxy primered, and rust converted. So let's get back into work and let's keep the videos going. You guys stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome back. Just going to bring you along just for a little bit of a view of kind of what we're dealing with and what we're doing. So here we have one of the upper control arms. I mean, this one still has some paint, but it's rusty and it's gross. So all we're doing is taking it to the sandblasting cabinet, blasting everything down, and this is what they're ending up looking like. Now let's see if I can get this off. All right. So we're blasting them down. Now this part you can tell sat in the dirt for a while, but still good metal. We're still going to use it. I mean, eventually we're going to go to disc, so this won't matter, but we're still going to paint it, take our time on it. I mean, we've got a lot of the rust off, but that's all we're doing is sandblasting everything. Now a few parts we have left. K-members ready to go, the one side drivers ready to go. No, we just have to get the passenger side and a couple bars and the bumper brackets, and then we are ready to spray a ton of epoxy black on this car. Now, once it's sprayed, obviously we're going to try to rebuild on a little bit of it, but we're not going to replace it all right now. We just want a roller, so we're going to put a lot of it together, but it's not going to be new bushings and stuff like that. Obviously, some of these ones are kind of a pain to get out in the upper control arm, and that torsion bar rod are a pain. So we're just going to do what we can, and we're going to keep going on it. We'll set you up at the blaster just seeing our setup, but let's get back to work. We'll put it on a time lapse. Hope you guys stay tuned. Hi guys, we're back. We got some stuff, we got everything hanging that we could fit in this paint, in this amount we're going to paint today. So we've got some 1-to-1 epoxy black mixed up. The brand we're using is Auto Body Master. It's a green and black can from Auto Value. It's just what I like, 1-to-1 mix, it's easy. We're going to put you on a time lapse. We're going to paint all this and keep the work going. Hope you guys stay tuned. Let's get back to it. Alright guys, we're back. We got some epoxy primer. We had been on a time lapse. We did 2 coats, really dialed the gun in to get these little pieces. I usually just have it on full bore, wasting some paint, so really got it dialed in. Really getting the feel for it finally. We got everything we could fit on the lift epoxy blacked, which is most of the front end minus the sway bar and the bumper brackets. So everything else is on here that's really needed. Honestly, some pieces I'm guessing I don't need because I know I bought the whole front end kit, so I'm just painting everything in case I don't have something. I don't want to run through and have to do it all again. Honestly, I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure I bought new rods and new sleeves for the tie rods, but we're gonna roll with it anyway because it's already out. It's already painted. So let's bring you guys back when we decide what our next project's gonna be. I'm not 100% what it is, but we'll bring you back when we figure out what it is. So stay tuned, guys. Hi guys, welcome back. Got our second stash of painting parts, epoxy primering the front end. We've got battery tray, all the mounts to the radiator, some other mounts. We forgot to do the bumper brackets again. I am terrible. Anyway, we got all this epoxied, and I just wanted to show with you guys, when you're painting this stuff, something to help you out while it's hanging, put a little leash on it. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but I've got one on the bottom, one on the top hanging. And all this allows me to do is turn it and do whatever I want with the piece. I've got leashes on all the littler items that have a ton of concave on them, that aren't as big. Put a leash on them. Help you guys out when you're painting. You can also hold them steady when it's blowing, because the gun's blowing air and paint, so you can hold it steady. But we're going to cut out, and we're going to come back with you guys on the next project, so we will see what that is. Hope you guys stay tuned. Let's get back to work on this car. Hey guys, little quick update, some stuff we came back to. So we kind of made a bit of a filler, or not, started another episode in between starting on the front end, so you're going to see the car in two different stages in this. But why we did that is because, let me grab a flashlight. We ran into a bit of an issue with the car that I guess I'd never really looked at or remembered. Not the worst thing in the world, but it's something I had to order. Our upper control mount is cut. So obviously that one it's never going to look like that again, I guess, because the replica one, I'm not much of a quality control kind of guy, but this is what it looks like. Obviously we've got some slag we have to take off. This is the weld. It's just two pieces of metal sandwiched together on each side. And it's honestly not the prettiest thing in the world. Kind of see it right there. It's sharp. It's not completely oval where it says it's oval. Blah, blah, blah. But we have some slag we have to clean up. We got a tag on the back side. So all we're going to do is grab a flap disc. We're going to hit it real quick. Then I think we're going to take it to the sandblaster, make sure we have no protective coatings on it, and then we're going to give it a little bit of something primer, I guess. And we're going to start on getting that welded in. So let's stay tuned, bring you guys for a couple fast forwards. We just have to take the old one off. I don't know if I want to do it right now, just for the pure fact of it'd be nice to get it. Okay, let's do this. Let's trace the old one, and we'll put the new one in. That way we know exactly where to put it. The old one's going to get just a coat of primer or something like that, just so it doesn't get corroded or rust or anything out. But then we're going to weld it straight in. We're going to go straight into putting the front end in. We're going to talk a few more things about our front end, about what we did. So let's get back to it. Let's get back to work. Everybody, back underneath the car. So we got this off. I'm going to bring you along for a ton of it just because it was quite the area. But as you can see on these, I mean, I hacked them up fairly well, but this is very thick metal. It can be fixed. Now what they did is, these tabs are on the inside on these squares, and they just welded thick beads. So I honestly just kind of guessed where it was and cut along them, going farther as I should. Then there was a couple spot welds. I think I had one there, 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 and there. So nothing too crazy. You can kind of see them on there. Other than that, for the new one, we're actually going to epoxy primer it. I can't see myself using spray paint on it and not letting it rust and flash rust and all that. So we're going to clean up a few other pieces that I never did, and then we are going to epoxy primer this inside upper A-arm mount. And then in the meantime, we're going to come back, we're going to put together the K-frame and wire wheel some of the bolts we used to take it off, and we will eventually get it slapped right in here in the car. So let's get back to work. Hope you guys stay tuned. Let's get her back at it. Hey guys, we got our new upper control arm bracket in, mount, whatever you want to call it. So the issue we had wasn't really lining up with the line I drew, and so I put them up next to each other, and the aftermarket's actually bigger than the new, it's smaller than the new one. The new one's larger. So we have it on the car. We put the bolts in, wanted to make sure it lined up, and then I looked down and this had fallen out. So we'll put that back in when we actually, take it back out and do it. But for right now, I'm going to check the two bolts, the one over here and the one on the inside. If those bolts line up, we're just going to burn it in. I treated it for rust. I used rust preventative spray. And on the bracket itself, I guess I had some self-etching weld-through primer, some epoxy, so I used that. Then we'll, obviously we're going to go back through and paint this, inner fender well and all that. I think it'll be great. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The inside of the engine bay is going to be black. The underside of the fender will be gray, I think. Just because we're going to end up doing that lizard skin anyway. So let's get back to it. We're going to check these bolts and then we're going to weld it in. We'll bring you along for a little fast forward on the welding. Maybe talk to you a little bit, and we'll keep chugging along on the car. This will be the next step to putting the whole front K member on. So let's get to it. Hey, we're back with a little update. Now, these don't look as good as per se they did from the factory, but they definitely look a lot more beefier. I forgot what it's like to weld on metal. That is so nice, laying a nice beads and stacking some welds. I mean, it's amazing compared to just all this little tapping and moving, but that's what we got at the moment. I think we're going to go through again and just kind of make that look a little better. Obviously, from the factory, it's a lot bigger hole. So that's factory and it looks flimsy. So it is what it is. So we got a lot of work done. We lost a few things that I'm looking for because I can't even paint. I lost some stuff in the shop. In the meantime, for that, we're gonna cut it for the end of work on this one. A big thing when you're replacing parts like these, some structural parts in the front, make sure you put whatever parts you have back on to make sure they fit. Now, I know I epoxy primered all that stuff and it was, mint, looked really good, had no runs. Had to chip it up a little, just knocking those things in. I think that's just part of the game with those. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're going to come back with another video after this one, and that's when we're going to fully put together the front of this car. Now, a few little things we have to do before we can really do that, but I'll do a few of those, most likely off camera, just kind of show you guys this was the issue. It's done. It's fixed. It looks beautiful. But we're going to end it for this week. This was the tear down of the K-member and the prepping for assembly. So hope you guys stay tuned. We'll get back to you guys, and don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good one.